I would just like to begin my speech this morning by saying that over the course of my 4 years here at Landon, I have almost successfully avoided every single opportunity to speak publicly, which I am now starting to regret. But I ask that you all bear with me for the next 5 minutes or so. If you had asked me 4 years ago who I would be when I graduated, I would have told you that I would be a handsome Division I lacrosse player who would be attending a certain Ivy League institution that I no longer like to name. I came to Landon with my sights set on being a lacrosse star. I had proven myself to be pretty good in the Northern Virginia lacrosse world, and Mr. Murphy, along with a few other Landon families, had convinced me to give my talents a shot in the big leagues of Landon lacrosse. The summer before I came to Landon, I would sit in my bed planning out the next 4 years of my life down to the most trivial details. I was going to be popular for sure. I would make varsity my freshman year and be inundated with letters from college coaches eager to offer me a position on their team. I had it all planned out, and I was absolutely sure that this was the person I was going to become. Anyone who knows me now will be able to tell you that though I may be the most handsome and popular guy in the school, my other dreams weren't exactly fulfilled in the way I had expected them to be. Ever since 8th grade, I've been plagued by injury after injury, including 3 orthopedic surgeries. My frequent injuries even prompted my good friend Bernard to start calling me Bubble Boy, because it seemed as though I needed to be kept in a protective bubble to keep myself from getting hurt. After each injury, I would walk down the hall in my various slings and sprints, practicing the same rehearsed speech, waiting for my classmates and teachers to ask what had happened this time. As you can imagine, this had quite an impact on my lacrosse career. I spent more time in physical therapy than I did on the field, but I was always working hard to be able to have my own moment of glory during the Landon prep game. Unfortunately, I only made it through 1 complete season, didn't get many letters from college coaches, and never got to play on the varsity team. And like most hormone-filled adolescents, I became depressed and had many conversations with my parents about not returning to Landon. But after every year, they managed to convince me to stay, and I think that now would be an appropriate time to say, thank you, Mom and Dad. I also struggled to find my place socially at Landon. Everyone was more than friendly, but my frequent injuries prevented me from bonding with my classmates over one of the most keystone aspects of the Landon experience, sports. And my social problems even became evident to some of my teachers, and a few times, Mr. Body had to pull me out of class to have a few tear-filled conversations about what was going on in my life. The point of my story so far isn't to make you feel bad for me, or to somehow blame Landon for my problems. It is simply to offer a different perspective, a perspective that I feel is experienced by many, but only shared by a few. High school isn't always an amazing time for everyone, and in fact, I would say it isn't for most for at least some of the time. I used to sit as Landon graduates gave speeches about how their days at Landon were the best days of their lives, and I would wonder, why couldn't my experience be the same, and why couldn't I have the same fondness for my time here? But I'm starting to realize that high school can be a time where a lot of bad things happen to a lot of good people, and most, if not all of these things, have nothing to do with the school itself. With that in mind, it may not be surprising that my image of Landon is much different than some of the Landon legends who have graduated before me, but it is no less amazing. In my eyes, Landon is a place where people who are hurt can find comfort and solace. Landon is a place that supports students when things may be at their worst, and a place that enables us to transform adversity into something productive and beautiful. Landon gave me a place to put my feet down and move forward when it seemed like I couldn't stop falling back. This is all due in part to the immensely caring faculty and staff, but also due to the brotherhood between students. When I finally reached out to the boys in my grade, I was met with unfailing friendship and support. In fact, one boy, Will Olson, who put gum in my seat, who made me sit in gum my first day at school, is now one of the best friends I've ever had. But if you ask him, I'm sure he would tell the story quite differently. While I may not have been a star out on the lacrosse field, my teachers have given me a place to express myself in the classroom, whether writing about famous works of literature with Mr. Swinehart or exploring the complicated world of Euclid with Mr. Sorkin. Though never before having a manager, Mr. Bordley and JR were kind enough to offer me a spot on the lacrosse team, which has made me feel like I am truly part of a community, and my weekly journeys to Reston for wing night, listening to Toby Keith with Jack Pruding, Leo Falcone, and Riley McTaggs, have left me with memory that I will soon not forget. Finally, this year I was named as a member of the student council and was also part of the prefecture. These were two experiences I had no expectation of participating in when I arrived, but these were both experiences that will stay with me for the rest of my life. Landon has given me so much and has allowed me to pretty much reinvent who I am. And I am not alone. I have seen so many of my classmates fight through their own injuries, disappointments, and losses, but I have also seen them find support within this community to overcome their own adversity and to become the men they are today. Over the last 4 years, this school and our school has made us all who we are, and I truly believe that we are better for it. Though I am certainly not leaving Landon the same person as I thought I would be when I first arrived, I've realized that what is important is the men we have become, and not the men we had intended to become, because I wouldn't change my experience for the world. I have written this speech with one goal in mind, and that is to say thank you with all of my heart to my teachers, my peers, and my friends for being there for me when I thought no one was, and for being the best extended family I could have asked for. I have been knocked down time and time again, but this school and the members of this community have always been there to pick me back up again. And because of that, this past year has truly been the best year of my life. Landon is a special place, and I will always hold my time here close to my heart. Thank you again. I love you all, and go Bears.